Here we go. All right, so people are gonna hopefully climb in here today. I'm gonna take a peek at what's going on. FRGT just popped up on the scanner. Okay, that's a little loud. There we go. FRGT. Ooh. So FRGT's got negative 1.3 months of cash left. That's good. They're probably unlikely to do an offering today, but they did a reverse split, and this is the first real pump since. I do like that it went right to those previous levels. So I'm going to check to see what they have. We've shorted FRGT probably a dozen times. It may do a little pump at open to fill this gap. It's cheap to locate right now, so I'm going to take them. FRGT, and I think I'm going to actually take an entry right here. Oh, it's actually pumping. Look at that. It's already filling that gap. $3 sounds even better than where I was going to go. I do expect this might end up here in the $3.75 to $4 range. There is a missed monthly pivot up there, so that's clearly worth keeping an eye on. But we've got a great level here with previous highs. We've got a nice wide consolidation area here, which wouldn't surprise me if it goes into here. That's also actually, if we back this up enough, found support there once as well. I can probably move that up just a little. So this is more for, and this is being recorded, so might not be a lot of people that make it to the live chat room today, but this will be available for, of course, anybody who's watching it later. Just try to find previous zones, right? So when you start looking at where it is and where it's most recently ran to, and then you start going back, you've got a spot here, you've got some spot where it consolidated through on the way down here. As you can see, it kind of went sideways for a little bit before it finally broke it. I can make this a little bit bigger. Right, and then, you know, if you keep going backwards, right, some chop in this area, broke away from it down to the previous. So these are two clear support resistance channels, right? So that's how I determine these. And then obviously you've got another one up here. Now the only challenge with, and I'm actually going to bring this because there's two pivots pretty much in the same line and some support back here. So this is also a pretty big one. It's a good, well, actually I'll close it up a little bit, but there's probably a 50-cent gap in there from $5.50 to $6. So the only challenge with having multiple zones like this is you kind of got to be wary of this, because yeah, if you take an entire size in here, you know, you got to know. So really you're almost taking a third position here, because it has the ability to run here, it has the ability to run here, because it's got a missed monthly pivot here. This would be, for my particular case, my dead stop loss area. The other thing could be is you could take a partial down here and just, if it starts to break out, just wait and see if it gets up close to this zone here. This one's more likely if it does do a pretty big break, because it does have a big gap down here. And you hear me talk a lot during videos on when something gaps down hard in a single day, which this did all pre-market, and then at open it gapped down for, these are two 4-hour candles, so it did take 8 hours, but that's a pretty big gap down. I mean, this is no different than over here, right? This thing gapped up, and it always refills the gap, and then it comes back to where it started, starts going sideways for about a week, 10 days, whatever this may be, before it starts making a new move. So it's not uncommon for these things to make a big gap and then come back to refill them later. So this has not come back to this zone yet. I do anticipate this is probably likely, but 1, 2, 3, 4 points, and now it's created a fifth. So this is a very strong area. I liked it. I grabbed some shares. I got in. I'm actually going to see if I can take another chunk of shares. They're not as cheap, but they're still cheap.
Executed.
So I'll pay that locate fee just to have them, just in case. And maybe I'll add in here if it comes into this area really strong at open. Maybe I'll wait and hold off, get a much better entry up here. So see what that does. But dilution looks good. Everything's pretty much green except for the offering. That just means they don't have a lot of shares that they're anticipating or have announced that they're going to sell. So there's FRGT. That one just broke here at 10 o'clock. Well, 10 o'clock my time, so it's really 9 o'clock. Check the trade log. Anybody's Quad was in there a few days ago putting his trades in. And it's mostly me. I put all my trades in here, every single one. This is available to anybody in the free area if you want to dissect anything that I've done. Sometimes I'll explain it out. But I put all my trades, win or lose. I put them all in there. Full disclosure on them. I don't always win, but, you know, we try. That's the goal. So right now, just to give a quick update, I'm in HSDT. I liked it here in this. Actually, I liked it lower than this. Right in here where we got some nice action. Same idea, right? Like, it's kind of the big cup and handle, but it got into this zone. I liked it. I got in around $16 and it took off to 50. But knowing, right, up here, look, $70 missed monthly pivot. I kept that under consideration. Normally, I would say that's too far away to even worry about. But this last week or 10 days, things have been pumping to $50, $60, sometimes daily. So that's really, you got to keep in mind current trends. And that is the current trend right now, to go absurd amounts. And so I took a position here this morning. Now I did it while I was still in bed, probably earlier than I should have, because normally I don't trade before 6 a.m., which is 7 a.m. my time. But I took that one at like 5 something, which would be in between the 4. I think it was close to 4:30 when I took it, which is well ahead of when really you should be waiting till after 6, in my opinion, and our opinion on this server. And this is why, because they will often make moves. But that's fine. I traded a size that I wasn't worried about. I didn't even watch it. This thing could have went to $200 and it wasn't going to be a danger to my account. That's why I traded that size. Probably from flashbacks of going to work on a Monday morning and coming back to, you know, a several $1,000 loss. So HSDT, it's pretty much reached. It hasn't gone to the monthly pivot, but it has pretty much gone from one level to the next level and been rejected so far. Seems to be in its downtrend now, so I'm not too worried about it. I did add to it when it broke VWAP up here to bring my average price up some, and it's gotten pretty close to break even. So this thing is hovering at VWAP, but it's still on the bottom end of the EMA 9. Even when it breaks it, it gets rejected immediately. So I'm pretty confident with this right now, even though it's not running in my favor at the moment. What else we got? Check. Every time I see this, I think it's sport check. Check. I drew an area on this one, so same idea. Started going back on the chart, see where it was. Lots of peaks in this area. When you go back even farther, even a few more. So I like that. It was a comfort area for me, so I took an entry as it popped up and was starting to come out of it. It was on its way back down when I located, and I got in just to the bottom of that area at 350. In fact, it bounced under it, but I said if it comes back to 350, I'll take it. It did. It has now been in a constant downtrend down. So as you can see, it struggled in this zone, right? So I drew that zone before I even took the trade, and it's been struggling in that zone. So it just goes to show how, you know, these previous resistance areas do take effect. They do come into play. So there's check. I'm currently in this one at an average rate of 350. NAOV I took this morning. this is when I started looking at it. I drew that on my phone. I meant to make it a gray line, but got in around $13. So I like that. It was on its way up, and I announced it in the Elite Traders here. Where did I announce that? Check HSDT. I think I just said I like NAOV anywhere around $13. Right here. It's a oh, look at that, didn't even spell that correctly. Recent reverse split pump. So on reverse splits, that's another strategy, but it has done a split quite recently, and you know, it's pretty close to inevitable that when a stock does a reverse split, it's probably going to do a pump after. Occasionally they do a pump before, so it just depends on the company. Some of them will do a pump, they'll sell off all their shares, and then they'll do a reverse split to get their number of active shares out there down. And I could explain in a much smaller version of a mini video or mini lesson on how reverse splits affect stocks. But this one did a recent split. It's now doing the pump, so this is a pretty common pattern for it to just trail along for a while and then bang, gets its pump. It does have a missed monthly pivot up here at just about $21. I liked the fact that this thing just peaks and peaks and peaks and dies and comes all the way back to where it started, usually same day, or continues to trend down for a day or two or 3 or 4 in a lot of these cases. But I mean, this thing has already come from the peaks that we previously had. It's already down from my $13 entry to roughly 10, and again, anything can happen at open. I took a size that I can handle it going to $21, and if it does, I'm fine with that. Obviously, I want this to come down and stop me out, or profit me out. Gotta be careful with my choice of words here. Right, so I'm in this one. It's doing pretty well right now. And FRGT, I just took FRGT here live, which it went right to that identified zone that I put in, and seems to be, now it's breaking VWAP. This does qualify for a VW1 trade. Doesn't have green offering or even orange, but it's not a double red, so it doesn't take it out. Everything else is in line. It's after our 6 a.m. preferred time. Did get a really big pump, hasn't broke VWAP. Finally now it's breaking VWAP. So technically, as long as this candle closes under VWAP and still has more than 20% to the target, it'll qualify as a VW1. If it comes down too far to make it worthwhile, and often, you know, midpoint, I mean, there's a lot of stocks that will bounce off a midpoint and make little trends up for a while, or sometimes even come back to retest high a day. So if it comes down too far, then I would no longer take it as a VW1 trade, but I would wait for it to retest VWAP and get a little bit better entry. So that's about it. What else is HS check? Rally's coming up the ladder. I don't see it. Oh, there it is. Look at that, actually. And OPI. OPI is all green, but I don't see it on my 30% up. So there must be something. Probably doesn't have enough volume or something, but let's go have a look. It's under, okay. It's under $1. So this thing's making some strides. It's over the current monthly pivot. That's a good sign. It's now on its 3rd day of a run. I guess you could say, yeah, so 1, 2, 3. That's an old pattern I haven't seen much of lately, but all last year that was a big pattern that I repeated myself over and over and over again, that 3-day surge pattern, which a lot of these pumps, if they make a second high on a second day, it's very likely that 3rd day is going to make a new one, and that is what it did. It's a good chance that this thing is done after today, but another missed monthly pivot up here. And it's coming back to this area before it made a major drop. This thing pays dividends. Does this company make money? You have to make money in order to pay dividends. But they're not. Interesting. So they don't, well, they're raising cash from doing this, but so I like this. This is, again, I mean, you can tell here, right? Like, what happens? Most brokers can't short under $1. So anywhere from 90 cents to $1, when it gets in there, everybody's waiting for it to break $1. It breaks $1, they start shorting it, and it just crashes it down. So this thing will be interesting if it gets up closer to $1, somewhere around 90 cents. I'll set an alert, keep an eye on it. But other than that, I have no interest in it. And what's the other one that I said? RELI. This thing's clearly got a history of making a lot of pumps. Everything's got missed monthly pivots lately. 862. It's done a reverse split. Has this one here for there you go. So there's the example that I was talking about just a few minutes ago. So this thing made a major move to 18 some dollars, but it wouldn't have been 18 at the time. It was quite a bit less than that. Probably moved up to the $1 and then eventually crashed back down. They did a split to bring their price back up over $1. So they did their pump first and then split after. And sometimes let me this thing. This king can't hold $1 ever. There's the last time it split. Same pattern. They did some pumping first. It started to crash. They did a reverse split. Continued to crash. Lots of missed monthly pivots. Balls. I don't know why sometimes my trading view does that. I try to right click to reset it to this and it takes off on me. So had a missed monthly pivot here. It is now taking it out. That's a good sign. Rally is pretty much all green. They've got a couple years of cash left technically. There's a nice consolidation zone right here. A little bit wider, but well, no, it's only 14 cents. It's at the top of it. I kind of like this, so I'm gonna check for shares.
Rejected.
No shares available, so everybody's looking to short this.
Rejected. Rejected. Rejected.
She's often not nice to me in the mornings. I think Trade Zero's not a morning person.
Rejected.
So I'll keep checking that. But this would be a great area to get in. It just took out the pivot. I mean, look at that one, right? Went up, took the pivot out, died, made new lows that day. Like, definitely lower than it started. These are the ones I love. If we can get some shares on that, it'd be exciting. I should like to get more shares than that.
Rejected.
What else we got going on? LRE. So we'll keep an eye on that one. I'm going to leave it on the screen. LRE made a good move this morning. Everything's got missed monthly pivots. Look at that pump. Another dividend stock. What the heck? A 1.6 cent dividend. That might be why it's not in here. It's generally a company that makes money. They lost money last quarter. Yeah, this is what happens when they're paying out dividends, but they can't afford it. I'm gonna skip this. Just because, I mean, it's got pretty good pattern. It's clearly on a downtrend. Looks like they were making money, but aren't at the moment. But it's a real estate company, so they can often change directions. Yeah, I'm gonna skip that. I wonder what. Oh no, LRE. Well, they're out of money. That explains why they're pumping. It's not horrible, but because it's got double reds for offering an overhead, no dilution available, and it's a company that pays dividends, makes money, people will tend to buy and hold if it's a company that makes money, which is why we don't trade companies that make money. We don't want people to buy and hold. We want people that if it's not going up, they start selling and it drives the price down, and then we make money. So still, I'm just not gonna get involved in that. All right, and that's pretty much everything that's up right now. NAOV we looked at because I'm in it. FRGT is still trending nicely. Just touching the AMA 9 now though, so we'll see if we get a bounce. Wouldn't surprise me if we get a bounce off of this up to VWAP and then further on. Probably not in that short a time frame. Still waiting for this to hit above 90 cents. Wow, look at that. I was trying to get in here. It looks so much bigger, but it's only 40 cents difference, but still. Might get shares now. We do have shares available. Alright, I like it. So it has broken through almost to previous pivot area. Support, resistance. I think this is gonna crash, so. If I can get a higher price, I would like it. But
Executed.
probably got rejected at the $2 area. So $1.86 is my average. Hey, look at that. I got imposters. Fan club. Somebody copied me. They probably got deleted already. I should go check though. See that profile anymore, so I'm just checking to see so I can delete any. Doesn't matter what you do, if you have a server that gets people, you get somebody in there trying to scam it. So all right, 4 out of my 5 current positions are in profit. That is excellent. This one is not yet, but it's still struggling with VWAP and EMA 9, so it's kind of consolidated the two of them together right now, and I like the idea that it's breaking it, but we'll see in 2 minutes when the market opens if it shoots up. At one point, it was $700 in the hole this morning. Which my spouse loves to hear. VW1 scanner, really. So, did take rally there. Probably, well, I shouldn't say a bit early, but I mean 2 minutes before open. There's obviously a little added risk to that, but I didn't take, I only took about half the shares. Not even half the shares I borrowed, so. I left some room just in case, as I often do. I'd rather put smaller sizes in and have less to worry about and grow the account like that, because you're still going to scale up your account, right? You're still going to take trades relative to the size of your account. So if you get the wins, your account grows, you scale even if I only take 5% account size on my trades instead of 10. I mean, if I see a real good trade, great opportunity, everything checks out, I'll put 10% of my account in on that trade. But if it's not, I'll do smaller, and you just eventually 10% of a $10,000 account or 5% of a $20,000 account, at some point you're going to be trading the same sizes, but just with a lot less risk. So crypto news on Rally, that doesn't bother me anymore. I'm just watching the Elite Traders
Market
channel
is open.
on my other monitor. That used to be about a month ago, 6 weeks maybe, a company that announced they were opening a crypto treasury, so they were going to invest their spare money into crypto, or specifically Bitcoin or Ethereum or any of the big ones. The stock would just shoot. Now this is bouncing off of this, so it's actually starting to find support at this area, but we'll see. Again, it's opening candle. You don't rely on opening candle to give me that info. Oh yeah, LRE we're not going to play. GLUE was something we didn't like earlier, so let me go. I already looked into glue. I like the glue area, but dilution is enough to make me skip it. So yeah, glue's got double red. It's got a huge market cap, which is bad for us, and institutional ownership, which means most of their shares are tied up with investment companies, and that means somebody believes in that stock. We don't need to. All right, so much for finding support. I'm actually going to set my profit target on this one at $1.05. That thing's coming down in a hurry. So just a little bit above A, the dollar, and B, the current monthly pivot. So there's and it just halted. So 1.05, that'll give me 80 cent per share profit if it hits it. So now I've got that in. I'm going to set an alert. I like that. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to set an alert on my entry. So test high of day. Because I don't want to walk away and not notice if this thing bounces and starts running away on me, right? So you got to protect yourself. Didn't enter Relly and FRGT as I didn't like the news at the hour. Meh. Alright, so there's Relly. So that's... I don't want to jinx it, but that's looking good so far. But I got my profit target set. OP, we're waiting still to break a buck. It is up. Check. Also, where is check? Check just halted. There we go. Check halted down. It's breaking VWAP. Now, this is something we don't talk about often, because it's not really an official strategy, but we have noticed that anytime a stock has halted through VWAP and it opens below, we have something like a 96% win rate if you were to take a trade at VWAP anytime after that halt opens again. So if this thing opens up down here, right, and does come up to do a retest of VWAP, if you take this trade, now I'm not telling people to do this, but we've done some testing on it, and this is a very high profit trade. So keep an eye on this. I'm already in it though, so I'm in it up here. So this is where, you know, it's great that this strategy works, but I mean, as you get better, looking at the 4-hour chart and finding places to get in your trade is going to be far more profitable, because we're in at 350. And this would mean we're only getting in at 290. Well, I'll take that extra 60 cents per share any day. But again, there's a lot of stocks that just pound up and then come back down in a hurry and halt through VWAP. So if you didn't get it, just something to keep an eye on. HSDT is coming nicely back to my entry point. Did it halt too? It looks like it. HSDT. It's halted. All three stocks that I am looking at are halted down right now. But lately, halt down gets us excited, and then next thing you know, it's halting back up 2 minutes later. So Not going to get excited yet. That's halted down. Check is halted down. And really is halted down. Well, let's put these all over here together. I should set a profit target on that too. I'm going to be a little more conservative here. I kind of like this area from last night. So 225, maybe the top end of it, 230. I'm not going to be greedy. I'd rather take the win. I just want the win, right? If it comes down and finds support off of last night's resistance area, then, you know, it comes down, bounces off of this, and takes off on me, makes a second day high. I'm stuck in it. So take your profit. I might actually even go to the top end of it, 240. I mean, I'm in at 350. That's going to give me $1. Actually, I'll just take the full dollar. Look at that. See, so here's an example. Just don't be greedy. Take a trade that makes sense. Now, yes, general rule, the 200 EMA is our profit target. But also general rule, we usually don't trade stocks that have movement the day before. So this made a big move up the day before. I want to eliminate some of the risk. So if it bounces off, I'm going to get out before it does. 250, so CHAK. And anybody who asks me if I would take $1 per share profit, absolutely. Every time. Oops, let's put my order in for, all right, so 250. So that is in. Let's get an alert on that. Okay, so we miss it. I'm also going to put an alert up here. Again, I want to be safe, right? You want to make sure that if I go to the bathroom, I go outside to take the dog out, whatever, I want to know if that thing's running away on me. I still start making lunch, or I have to go to an appointment, whatever it may be. My phone's going to go off and tell me, watch this. I don't have a range order in at the moment because I'm not a big user of that, but I definitely am if I'm going on a longer drive or going someplace. There's the dog now. Someplace that I may not have a lot of signal. I don't want to leave my account up to chance. So I will set a range order, which means it'll execute if it reaches a high point and get me out, or it'll execute at the low point I pick. So it came out of the halt. Again, here's another one where it could come back up and retest VWAP, and that would be a good trade. Check came out of the halt much lower. HSDT is still there. This isn't going to give me much, but I mean, if I get, it's a little higher risk trade, and it didn't go my way, but I mean, at this point, if I can get 17, 18, if I can get $18 out of it, you know, it's all good. I'm already up about 2.5, including this being in the hole, and one other one is in the hole, and it will be, no, it's not. I mean, I still got about 2.5% account growth already on the day. Check HSDT. So I'm still watching. Again, if you have, I don't suggest it because I know one of you is in here that asked me that, but to anybody who's watching this later, when you get 0 Pro, this is always on my screen, and these are my criteria. Anything over 90 cents, I want it to show up. It's got to be up 30% of the day so far, and I need at least 250,000 shares traded before it starts to be of interest to me. This is a live list that changes, you know, every 10th of a second constantly. But if you're on the free version of Trade Zero, the mobile app has the same thing. So plug your phone in, stand your phone up beside your monitor or whatever you want to do, and you can see the exact same thing. There are plenty of other scanners. You can actually get a live scanner on this as well. Down here. Maybe. Come on. What's broken right now? There we go. And you just put all your criteria in. So this is a completely different. Oh, there's two of them in there. Oh, I should be looking at these. That's a first red day plays. Normally there's never anything in here, but anyway, you can go in and set your criteria to the same. So anything over 90 cents, anything that's up over 30%, keep your market cap to under I got 2 billion on this, but anything under, we try to keep it really under 100 million. So, and then you can have this as one of your screens, and it will pretty much keep you updated live too. You kind of need live data. Well, you don't kinda, you do. You need live data to be able to trade. So you can get a free trading view account, but the data's going to be delayed and the volume's not going to be the same. You have to pay the $5 a month or whatever to get live data. You can't trade 2-minute delays because half the time the trade's over or you've missed it. If you didn't catch this pump, you get out. By the time you get in, you think it's up here, but it's really already down to here. You're not going to get the trades. So, glue, really, NAOV, LRE. So nothing in news on. Check and HSDT are they're halted again. Yeah, see, now it turned around and halted up. See, got excited. Came 10 cents away from my 12 cents away from my profit target. And rally, same thing. Rally's not halted. Oh no, it's HSDT. That's still halted. That's been halted a while. 290. Oh, as I said that. It's just breaking even for me now. We'll wait and see what this. So this came back up. So again, here's what I was talking about earlier. It halted. It opened. It halted through VWAP and opened. If you retook this trade right here at 289, this would be a great entry. A very high win rate on doing that right now. If it's halted like this and you want to get in when the halt comes out, so right now it's halted at 289. So what I would do is I'd put a limit order right now for anything above 285, because sometimes it'll open exactly even and go straight down, and you want to catch that at the even or a couple cents under. If you try to get it right at 289, it's very easy that it opens up at 287 and never comes back. And I have a separate halt strategy that I've tested that a billion times. I even have a custom. Where did it go? I must not have it up. Oh, there we go. My halt scanner. I even have a custom halt scanner. So it checks in at second halt, ATCH, NAOV. So there's a few things in here we didn't even look at that have been halting. So every time a stock halts, this thing shows me. Really still there. Haven't seen any. Nobody's got any questions so far. OPI, we looked at that quickly because it was, yeah, we have it here. Still waiting for that to break above, up close to the dollar. But it did come up on the scanner, I believe. No, it didn't. I'm sorry. Oh, it did. That shouldn't, because it's only supposed to take... No, I guess it does. Okay. But still moving up. Very slowly. It's grinding. It's been grinding for 2 days, so just wait till that thing hits $1 and then watch it crash down to 25 cents. NAOV and check 5-minute MACD crosses. Well, that crossed a long time ago, so not sure what he's talking about there. And NAOV check crossed quite a while ago too, and is actually above where the MACD crossed. So this is MACD. In the other chat room, one of our members, was just mentioning a couple stocks, and the MACD crossover is handy, but it's not. So is the RSI, so relative strength index. So this basically tells you that anytime something gets up over this 80% bought area, it goes to show that it's overbought. It's the percentage of price to a ton of calculations go into that, and you can usually see that. I mean, this is the reaction, right? It gets up in there, it gets heavily overbought, usually crashes back down into this area. Same thing. This, so it gets up, gets heavily overbought, starts crashing back down, and then it continued on, stay overbought, and then it, weeded its way back down in. Now, this is a following. Obviously, it's falling, right? It's not going to give you the overbought scenario before it gets there, but when something goes this heavy, it's a pretty good sign that it's going to at least retract some, right? And in this case, it did. So if you started chasing that thing in $4, you can get down to $3 before it took its next run. But I use these as just a little bit of extra confidence, and I'm out of something. Really? Was it really? Really? All right. So it really went from $1.86 to $1.05. Don't know why I actually executed before the alert went off, but here it goes. There. So it really is a done trade. And that one we just took live here this morning. That's fun. It's nice when we get something in the live. And now I could have picked current monthly pivot. I could have tried to wait for this, but again, stocks, the reasons we do this, you can always sit here and say, oh, I could have got a few more cents out of it. And once in a while, yeah, you will. But we play a risk game. And stocks bouncing off of $1 is a very frequent thing. It happens a lot. It has a hard time breaking through $1, just like OP that we're watching. And then once it does, it will often bounce off that $1 for a while before it breaks. Well, why get in that mess, right? Take your money. And we'll see what it does. It's probably, I mean, it doesn't matter anymore anyway. It's done. The trade's over. So I will actually just watching to see if anything else pops before I spend a second on this, but nothing else seems to be up. So got into this one up here, $1.86, and we took our profit right there at $1.05. I'm just gonna declutter and get rid of some of my lines, especially where it's got the alert on it. Actually, I'm going to leave that line on there because later on, if I pull this stock up at a future date, that line continues on forever. So I'll be able to say, oh, I've traded this back at some point at $1.86, and then I'll go back to the chart and find this trade. So it's always good to see what you've done down the road. So copy image. We shall go into the trade log. There's our first close trade for the day. RELI. Live trading session trade. Keep that simple. That's done. Can close it. I'm going to set an alert on that actually. There. So now if it ever pops up, even if it's today, maybe it'll come up and retest today. I'll take a second trade on it. No problem. Check halted up, opened, pretty much touched the 9 EMA and was rejected immediately. That's good. I love it still under the 9. Even when it breaks the 9, when the next candle rejects back under, that's not a break of trend. So we're still in the downtrend. Go back to scanner, make sure we don't miss anything. think LRE we said we didn't want to. Yeah, we didn't want to play it, but I mean, it's, you know, unfortunately for us, this one's playing nicely. It's doing what we want it to do, but it was just added risk, right? So, company pays dividends. There's a dividend chart here somewhere. I'm just not going to touch it. Somebody just said NAOV. Yeah, NAOV is doing a nice retest to 13 again.
Executed.
There we go. So now we're out of check. Check, I believe I took, I did take this before this live session, but so 350 was my entry. Something else just halted. Actually, check just halted down. This will probably open, and it wouldn't surprise me if it found some support. But see, look at that. It halted because everybody's trying to get out, right? So get out when, you know, be one of the first people out. Don't, you know, yeah, maybe I could get 50 more cents if I get lucky. But there's also a 50-50 chance that it bounces off of here and makes a new high into tomorrow. Because this is on its second day run. So why take that risk? You make money. I would rather put a bigger position size. Now, this goes against what I was saying earlier about taking smaller position sizes. But I would rather have a little bigger position size long term, like growing my account and growing my position size relative to that by getting my high percentage profits, more confidence, more wins, therefore I can increase my position size faster and end up making more money than trying to squeeze the extra little bit out of all of these trades, get stuck in some bouncing and taking either smaller wins or small losses, and that has a huge effect on your account. So just take them where it's smart. Play the smart trades, if that makes sense. I hope it does. But I mean, that's a whole dollar. So remember, I was starting in here in this consolidation area, and then a few peaks this morning. You know, it also came back to touch it. So really, this 222 area was pretty key. Maybe it will come down and touch this. And you know, often we take the 200 EMA cloud as our profit target, but again, we often don't take trades that start the night before. We do, but it's not a bread and butter A1 setup. All right, so save. Oh, good. Yeah, I'll delete that alert. And I'll delete this alert. Oops. In fact, I'm already out of that, so. There, I just closed. Let me do some math. Those two trades that closed. %3 of my account growth already today. And I still have 3 trades open. So it doesn't take much to grow 2% a day. You can take a $5,000 account to over $1 million in a year. So keep those simple numbers in mind. 2% a day doesn't seem like a lot, but it is. There we go. Trade 2. NEOV pumping. What do you mean testing PM highs? There is no PM high on this. Nathan, are you in here? You're not in here. I grout these kids sometimes. Alright, so that one is saved. HSDT bounced off midpoint. Look at that. And this is actually a pretty common consolidation area of today. So it had a hard time breaking this. When it did break it, it came back down, found support. Check just halted again. Oh, I closed it, doesn't matter. HSDT is halted up. But again, we're still in the downtrend so far. It still can come up and retest VWAP, that's fine. NAOV. This won't surprise me if it halts. It is halted. So this is halted at retesting this morning's high. But again, we got a missed monthly pivot up here. So, you know, there's some room. Got to keep those things in mind. When this is here, I will never take a trade in this area that I cannot allow me to add up here. This is just a big red flag saying, come touch me. Why would I get stopped out here somewhere when it's being asked to come up here, right? You got to trade accordingly. So I took a position, but I want this trade so that I could take it all the way down to the current monthly pivot. That's the trade I want. I mean, look at that. It's going to be $14 a share. And you know what? If it goes up here, I don't get a loss. If it does not go up here, then I get a small win. And there's nothing wrong with small wins on trades that you might not even have any business taking yet, because this is a threat. FRGT. We have that open, don't we? We do have that open. Oh, I should be closed. Look at that. Oh, I didn't do the retest. Ah, well, I'm wrong. But yeah, I should be closing this out right here. It's just touching, so $1.57. FRGT. I don't know why I didn't set a profit target on that. Limit dollar. Yeah, what it's at now? 57. 58.
Executed.
Out. So this one we took, was it 275? $3. Oh. So I set a limit for FRGT at $3. Got filled. And we took this down to $1.58. Now the reason I picked $1.58 is because the ask side was $1.58, the bid side was $1.57, and there was like 70 or 80 people on the bid side and like 7 people on the ask. So just take the 1 cent higher and get it filled immediately. Not have to worry about it. Yeah, maybe it'll come down, maybe it'll touch down here. So be it. That's great, but it's touching the EMA 200, which is usually my target. See this? Again, I broke this one down this morning. There's a missed monthly pivot up here. There's 3 major resistance zones on the 4-hour chart. This is the first one where it was this morning when I decided I wanted to take it, but it started running up, so I took it a little bit higher. But you go back on your 4-hour chart, there's your first point of resistance. If you keep going back, oh look, it touches something else. There's some consolidation in there, and it had support back here, right? Multiple splits. This thing has a hard time holding over $1. That's great. Good news for us. It can pump pretty hard. It has done some massive pumps. Now it was never at $16, so divide 16 by 4. So the highest this thing pumped to was $4 that day, because it's done a split since. Another one that splits did the pump before the split. That's fine. Just got to recognize that when you look back on the 4-hour chart, right? But we took this trade. But I wasn't going to stop out if it went here, and I wasn't going to stop out if it went here. In fact, I was going to add up here, and then I had, if I add here, and this is my stop loss area, if it breaks above this missed monthly pivot and holds, then this is a paper cut, right? If I added in here and I stopped out here, this is a paper cut. Who cares, right? That's not, you're going to be like 20 cents. But if I added in here, it did as predicted, which would be hit that missed monthly pivot and fall all the way back, that's a huge trade, right? We're looking at $4 to $5 a share. But because these are up here, these are hanging over our head, these are very tempting. Eventually this stock will more than likely touch that missed monthly pivot. It will go there. So, you know, this is a future trade. I'm gonna actually set an alert in here somewhere. Testing resistance. Set yourself up for future. If it comes back up, I'll look at it again. I like this area. This is great. But this area has a missed monthly pivot. You cannot take a trade. You should never take a trade that is big enough that a missed monthly pivot will stop you out. You're just gambling. It's just think of it as a missed monthly pivot, as somebody sitting there taunting you, daring you to come up here. And they dare these stocks to come up there that far, and they often do it. I mean, look at all these pivots. Eventually, right, the stock was down here at $4. It came up and took this one out, right? I mean, look at this pivot was well above. It's in the $12 range when this thing's down at $6. Now again, it's split cent, but it just in proportion wise, right? What did it do? Came up, didn't quite hit it. It did it the next time. I mean, these things come back and hit these pivots. They're going to do it. You might find one that doesn't. We looked at a stock earlier that had missed monthly pivots all the way up. That's usually the really shitty companies that just are not good at pumping their stock. But there's bag holders in here. There's people holding this stock at an average of $6 for this entire 2 or 3 or 4 days that this thing was pumping. There are people in there holding the stock at $12. And as soon as it gets back up, the majority of these people that bought this in here are just waiting with alerts to get out, break even. They're holding that, hoping it'll come back someday and give them their money back. They don't even want to make profit anymore. They just want their money back. And when you're holding a stock long term and it's been in the negative forever, you just want it to come back. And when it does, you take your money because you'd rather put it somewhere else. And that's what's happening with these missed monthly pivots. They'll come back and get hit. So that's not bad. So I didn't get the curve, but it turned out to be a really good trade. I mean, there's another. That's $1.42 a share. These big shares lately. I'm now at entire account growth for the day. .8%. So now I'm at 5% account growth for the day. Two more positions open. NAOV, which is going against me right now a little bit, and HSDT, which has come back down to my average price. Again, I'm going to be pretty conservative on this. If it gets in anywhere close to these 17 and sub 18, I'll take this one out, and then I'll still get $2 a share. Like, let's know that's okay. It doesn't look so big on that chart because it pumped so high today. And I was in this thing at something like $14, and it ran to 50. But I was okay with that because I had a trade size. People always, so I'm gonna rant for a minute, but there's people in our chat group, and in any chat, I've been in many, right? It's so hard to teach people to trade smaller sizes because you want to buy your Lamborghini tomorrow. It's not going to happen. But everybody wants to make money. Oh, I only made $30 today. Well, you only have a $500 account. You made $30 on a $500 account. That's good. Stop thinking you're not going to make $1,000 a week on a $1,000 account. It's just not going to happen. Grow your account steadily without taking losses and get that thing up to, I think I average $1,000 a day when my account hits around 10,000. Yeah, maybe 12. $2,000 a day when I get into $20,000. 20, so in that range. So those are 10% days, which don't happen too often. But I think $1,000 a day is closer to an average $1,000 a day is around a $20,000 account. So that's your average. I was starting to do close to $2,000 a day on a $29,000 account. When I get to about that range. But smaller trading sizes. I mean, this probably stopped out a million people, but it didn't for me. And I still grew my account already today 5%. So if you have a $100,000 account, you just made $5,000 in one day. That's ridiculous, right? I own several companies. They don't pay me $5,000 a day. You just got to be smart. You got to trade a size that you can afford to have it run against you when there's a reason to. So again, look, $70 missed monthly pivot. I traded a size that I was going to let it go that high, and I was not going to have a single drop of sweat on my brow worried about it. Because if it comes up here, I would have bought some shares or sold some shares at $70. Now I'm not going to sell 1,000 shares. That's ridiculous. But I saved it, and now it's coming back and it's paying off. But that was the whole point of my rant, is that you hear people whining all the time, and that just halted down actually. So just to interrupt myself, but you hear people all the time, you can't make any money trading such a small account size. Well, I've grown a $2,000 account to $30,000 several times now, inside of 4 months. That's 10 times, 15 times your account. Well, now do that again when you get to $20,000, 15 times your account, right? Get to $100,000, 15 times your account. You're making money. Just be patient and let it roll in. So, still watching NAOV. Large short position on micros create liquidity problems. That's part EDB. That's part of why I have a minimum of 250,000 shares traded on the day already, and we usually want to start seeing, like, look at these. So up right here, if you could see my mouse, right? I mean, there's 200,000 shares. When it starts in a small downtrend with low volume here, it gets down in the 40, 50,000. But I mean, these are 270,000, 250, 200. That's why I want stocks that have a lot of shares traded, because my 500, 200, 300, 1,000 shares is just a drop in the pond for something this big. So if something's trading 1,000 shares or 2,000 shares in a 5-minute candle, no, I don't want to touch it, because I'm going to be half of that trade and I'm going to influence that price. And then if we get 5 other people that happen to jump into it, now it's ridiculous. So yes, that can create liquidity problems. I want something it doesn't even come up on my scanner unless it's got 250,000 shares traded on the day. And to be honest, I mean, HSDT right now is at 15 million shares traded. My few hundred is not going to affect this. So you got to trade something that's got volume. It has to have volume. Something just popped up on the scanner here. This thing still hasn't reached, but I have an alert on that. So I'm going to give you an example. ONFO. So ONFO. Wait, look, you can already tell just looking at it. This has no volume. There's nothing. Just popped up. It broke. It's got 5 million shares traded, but it's the slowest trading stock on the day so far, and it's all in this 5-minute candle. This one had 54,000, and then all of a sudden 5 million in this candle. I don't really know what's going on here. It didn't come up. Did it come up on the scanner? It did. 7 months of cash left. Oh, look at that. If any of you like Star Wars, it could be our next catch of the day. Market cap's good. Institutional owners good. Everything but offering. I don't like that it's making. Well, I mean, making new highs from 40 cents. That's really not that big a surprise. It's done a pretty monstrous run here. Right now, this is an area that I like. It's unfortunately broke it and come back down, but I do like see right peaks, 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 and then today. So I like that area. It doesn't. It hasn't. But this is a little risky though because it all of a sudden like why? What's making the stock move? How did it go from no volume? Look at this, like 23,000, 6,000, 4,000, 1,000, 800. Right? This thing was trading 600 shares, 400 shares, 100 shares. 2 candles before it took off, it traded 100 shares in 5 minutes, and now it traded 5 million, almost 6 million shares in 5 minutes. So what is pumping this stock? We don't have news on it yet. But again, I like it around the $1.80. Bringing this thing back to $1.30. Let's see if it's got any shares available. It does at the minimum price too at 40 cents per 100. Check is halted again. So it's retesting the area I like. So limit, come on. $1.80. I don't know if I'm going to get that. It's
Rejected.
Because I have good to close.
Executed.
All right. So I can now change that. That's my entry. Now I didn't go nuts on this. I mean, I've already made 5% on the day. I'm not gonna go crazy, but I like this, right? Can we go back any further? Not that old of a stock. 2022, not bad. I like this. I like that it's topped out here in the $2 range. I like that it's topped out once here in the. No, maybe not. Okay. I thought because of where the VWAP band is here when you're moving it, see it right there? It looks like a top of a candle, maybe like part of a 4-hour, but it wasn't. But I do like this in around here. It's retesting these highs. Can it go to $3? Absolutely. Because it doesn't have a huge amount of history and doesn't have a huge amount of resistance areas. But I really do like this $1.80 area. I took a little bit of a smaller position. Just lower the risk, right? Especially if you already made your money for the day. Don't give it back. Don't do that. It's got earnings coming up when... Oh, November. Company loses money. Had 1 quarter where it made some money. That's good. Everything here checks out good. Everything here checks out good. Could wait for it to break VWAP if I wanted to take a VW1 and make it a little higher win chance. Which means a close below VWAP. Which is odd because this candle technically opened under VWAP, so it no longer qualifies. This thing's got to close above, and the next candle close below. All right, everybody's talking about it. NAOV's jumping. That's not a jump. Yeah, it made a retest. High day retest. These happens on stocks all the time. That's why we never, ever, 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 ever stop out under high a day. Never, ever. But to be more advanced, you never stop out under a missed monthly pivot either. That, at least one that's, within range. And check. So I'm just, for fun, because the other chat room is talking about it up here, checking NAOV. this is not this is not a making a run. Kids these days. But see why I took the profit out here? I mean, look at that. What did it do? It bounced off of last night's high. Right? We had that virtual line that I didn't actually draw, but I mean, look at that. It's a little crooked down here, but you see my point, right? Couldn't close above it. Got up to it. Took 15 minutes to, actually 20 minutes to break away from it. What did it do now? Came down and bounced off of it. Now, it could just be a retest of VWAP and it continues to fail on, but I'm not in it. I don't care that it's retesting. I'm drawing dots all over my screen now. And check has halted again, which is now halted down for the 6th time. Dividend news on Unfo. Everything's got dividend news. Doesn't make money though. They're thinking about dividends. Did it finally get, did news drop somewhere? I don't see it yet, but there may be news on. Maybe that's what's pushing it up. Look at these 3 big wicks. So this is really having its good old time. Remember I said this had to close green and now this one needs to close red. Right? Oh. Or just go halt red. We're fine with that too. I don't know if anybody else jumped in this with me. I need to set myself a profit target. So again, the EMA 200 is going to slowly creep its way up. There's some consolidations in here. So I like $1.20. Right? You see why I say that? To be above this, above this, above this, in the range of this. So, and look how fast that's coming down. Doesn't mean anything. It may not stay down. But that's a good sign that it went exactly to where we said it would. And I said it would have to close green to close above VWAP, and then the bulls are going to take over, or the bears are going to take over. So, cover, that's going to halt. Come on. So far it's been another good live Monday. I hope a couple of you managed to take some of these trades. I trade better when I trade live. I should do it every day. And at some point, as we get into winter, I'm in Eastern Canada, so it's 100 degrees in the summer and below freezing and 2 feet of snow in the winter. So I kind of hibernate and sit inside and trade a lot more in the winter. So the season is coming where I will be in here much more often, most of the day, every day, and I will go live several times a day in the Elite Traders, several times a week in the Elite Traders, and in our mastermind area for sure. Or I'm going to start doing alerts on all of these types of trades and get more into the halts and get more into a few things. But I do like this. Did I post FRGT? I didn't. Nobody needs my drawing. Image FRGT was alive. trade. And for anybody that watches this video later, I mean, post your trades, especially the losses. Post the losses. I'll go through this and I'll work with anybody who's got losses in here onto why. And it's not about, you're never going to be a better trader. I shouldn't say never, but the likeliness of being a better trader grows exponentially when you're willing to listen to somebody with some experience talk about your trades with you and help identify areas where either you could have entered a little bit differently, could have looked for something a little differently, could have exited a little bit differently, and finding those tweaks. I mean, I'm not going to go out and play professional baseball tomorrow. I suck at throwing a ball because I got a bad shoulder, but if I went and got a coach, you know, I'm going to learn how to do it. And okay, so I'm not going to go to major leagues, but you know, you don't become a professional trader, which means you're making money consistently, you know, by trial and error by yourself usually. So post your trades, post your losses. Don't be transparent, because the more comfortable you get with sharing your trades, the faster you will become a successful trader. And I post every trade I take, including my losses. I'm not scared to. I hate taking loss. I'm so competitive. I hate losing. But I don't even like playing if I can't keep score. Right there. Oh, she's not listening. She's got her headphones on. She's tuning me out. So AIIO, I've played this before, but I think I played it on my other chart. This thing has made some hefty jumps and crashes in the same day many times. Same day, morning, retest. Evening, retest the next morning, crash. So good stuff on this one. Maybe. I don't know if I'm going to touch this. And it hasn't come up in the scanner for probably good reason. Let's go see if there it is. Oh, this thing is right across the board. Cash positive. Although it doesn't show cash positive here. Sometimes you gotta double check things. But no offering. $560 million market cap. Well above. We don't want to get caught in some of these things. So, nope, that's an out. I do like what it's done. But also, if you see here. So, yes, it's made some pretty epic runs and crashed same day. But sometimes it's made a run and gone on to several days. And if it's doing that, I like the zones that it's at. I mean, there's a lot of things about this I like on the chart pattern, but this adds an element of risk. So I'm just not going to. Let's go check on our onfo. This thing is probably halted up again. It is. This thing's all over the place. Onfo. Still coming down. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Where did I put my profit target on Onfo? $1.20. Should have did this much earlier, but I got caught talking, and I'm gonna add just in case. Testing high of day. Again, safety first. Protect your account. Oh, I've traded that before, but not since it's gotten that big of a market cap. This is a scanner we used to use, which you can see how much we've evolved this, but this thing, anything over 15%, and then it alerts again. That's more of a warning. That's not enough for us to take a trade, but when a stock is up 15%, it's a good time to go and borrow shares or check for the price of shares. And ideally borrow them when they're cheap, because they're still going to be cheap usually at that price point. And then as the price gets higher and it starts to get more people borrowing shares, you know, the price can run away. And I've seen me pay $100 to borrow shares before, but to make $500, to me, that's worth it. But Yeah, so check's coming back down where we started. My dog's chasing a squirrel in the window. But this is the old scanner, and it gives you the same dilution information. But now we've got this where it weeds a lot more out. So there's so much less noise here, right? So this one I have, it pops up on my phone. This one I don't, because there's just so many that pop up. But we left it active because it's very handy to go back and something jumps up, but it didn't come out on here. You want to know why. You go find it and find out that it's a horrible stock. You don't want to trade it. Well, it's a good confirmation tool. And then VW3 is the VW1, but when it pumps 100%. And there's a little bit of a different strategy on that, but like really went to 100% today. And we probably got most of that move. So Onfo is the last one I'm kind of watching here. Pretty confident at this point now. I mean, that's right. Like, I mean, that's a pretty good sign for us. It crashed even to the point where it's under EMA 9. This thing went up in a hurry. This took one candle, really. I mean, the price action went so heavy that it, again, went to almost 6 million in one candle. 7 million in that candle. 7.5 million in this. So that's, there's 13 million here, and half those people bailed. And that's, see, well, they all sold it. This isn't going any further, so get me out before I lose too much money. And we got in and started selling up here and are along for the ride. So once this thing comes down, then I'll probably end this morning's stream, or it's almost not quite afternoon for me yet, but it's been a little over an hour here, so I like to try to keep these streams to an hour. Market open recently seems to be pretty good. I do play some pre-market, but my general rule is if you're in pre-market and you're in pre-market fairly early, now not the last hour, but in pretty early, I'll usually take my profit at the midpoint. And this is why, right? Because they can often come down, touch midpoint, and take off. Here they come down, touch midpoint almost, and take off. Right? Early market jumps, touch midpoint, made a new high of day. That's exactly, that's the example right there. Early pre-market. I mean, this is at it, well, it's at 8 o'clock Eastern, so it's not that early. But touch midpoint, and now it's making a new high. Could it go to 21? Not sure. I'm in this at 13. We'll see. This one touched midpoint, but I mean, this was a whole different pattern altogether. And I should have taken some. I meant to take some out there, and I didn't. Remember I said if it was into the 17s, I'd take it. So it's still. Hey, look at that. Just things are moving so fast today. But I'm going to de-risk a little bit on HSDT. Because of the heavy pump. Oh, there's such a wide gap too. Actually, I think I'm just going to take it all. I'm just going to get rid of it.
Executed.
Okay. It touched the 200. Well, almost. I should have taken it here. I did say if it gets into the 17s, I'm just going to take it. What's my average? 1965. There was actually 2 entries on that, so I don't. I'll see if I can find those trades, and I'll update this before I post it. But yeah, I'm just going to take this one off. In case this was enough of an EMA 200 touch for the general public that it starts making new highs. I've already made lots of money today now. I mean, I'm approaching 7 or 8% on my account, which is a good day. I'm just not going to add the risk. I mean, if I can close everything out and go home, it's fine with me. I still have one that's in the negative, which is an AOV. So NAOV is the only one I'm in left. So we took this at $1.80. again, for anybody who's in here or watches this later, we took it at $1.80 because the 4-hour chart gave us a really nice resistance zone at $1.80. And look what it did. 3 straight candles. It just could not hold it. I mean, that's textbook, right? Previous resistance. That's, if you go into the mini lessons, there's a lesson in there on there's multiple lessons that I have in there on previous resistance. Take that off. I'll leave that alert on there because if it comes back, I'll take it again. 4th trade of the day. What do we get? 60 cents per share on that, right? And it's such a low price point. I mean, 1,000 shares, you know, you're only putting in $1,800 and made 600. Like, you just made 33% of your investment in one, like 15 minutes. Man, not really. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes, 20 minutes. 20-minute trade to make 33% profit on whatever money you put into it. So again, 1,000 shares just made $600 in one trade in 20 minutes. I've never had a job that paid me $600 in 20 minutes. Until I started trading. This one's out. So, what was that? HSDT. 1965. Can I get my first HSDT? It's 1675. $16.75. So that was my first entry. And then I added more at $24, which was when it broke VWAP. In fact, it was $24 even by the looks of it. So I waited for this to come back. I wanted a higher. Could I have taken it when it... This is what I debated, okay? So it broke the EMA 9, which gives me a trend. It couldn't break it, couldn't break it, couldn't break it. I debated on getting in here at $31. Would have been a pretty valid entry, but VWAP is a high reversal area. So if it came down, touched VWAP, and started to really take off again... Now this happened to close below VWAP, so I mean here it's touched it. This one kind of closed below. That's the initial pump on opening. I just, because it had run so far, I didn't want to add money and it reruns up here again and starts making a run for this. So I tried to be a little bit smarter in my ad, and I waited for it to close below VWAP, because once the stock closes below VWAP, that point it hugely increases the odds that the bulls are taking over and it's gonna be in a downward motion. Doesn't always mean it, and it did do a little bit of a retest to this area. So again, we look at, you know, lines on the map, and again, look, it struggled to break this here. It took 3 candles to break it. It took 4 candles to come down, retested it, and has gone below ever since. So I was a little bit more cautious. I didn't have a big trade size in this, and it was because of this. If this runs to $70, I would have added up there. But I still made a little bit of money because I get in. My average price ended up being $19.65. I got $1.50. Yeah, I had to hold it through, you know, something pretty hefty. But I still got $1.50 per share on this. And this is only because I took a really conservative exit. I could have waited till it got into the 16s. Well, we've got 4 successful trades already, and closing that one made 5. Why risk it, right? So this should be red. Post this one. I might do a video replay on this one, review on this one later, because I really would need to explain why I let it go that far. Somebody's just going to look at this picture and be like, you're an idiot. Why did you let that run so far against you? You know, from 16 to $50. Like, why would you hold that? It's high risk. I had a reason to hold it. I knew the risk because I researched it first. So don't just hold things hoping that it'll come back down. That's a bad idea. You'll blow up your account. Trust me, I've done it. What was I doing? Okay, posting this. This was a very early entry. Not the smartest decision. Here we go. Again, I may do a video review of that. I'm going to do a trade review anyway, I think, of the trades today, because there was quite a bit. So I'll do probably a 15 to 20 minute trade review. NAOV looks like it's going to halt again up. So here we go. We're going for the missed monthly pivot. And if it trades at 716, it's halting. It is trying to halt. I still have half my shares available, so I will take it at 2075. And I will cut it loose if it breaks 2096 and the next candle does not come back down below it, because I don't want to ride this to 35 from 13. But it's filling a gap. I mean, there's a previous high here, there's some lows over here. Yeah, so Nathan just posted in the Elite Traders, it could be going for the missed monthly pivot. I'm glad he's seeing the pivots. That's excellent. He's learning. That's getting close enough now that that's pretty much destined. So I will set myself an alert. Short 2075. This one's done. I posted it. I saved it. I can close it. Check is done. Still hasn't come down below where we got out, right? Midpoint. That was an excellent choice. And Onfo we already closed, and I think I put it on. I did. There it is. So there's our trades for this morning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and one more open right here with either some opportunity or a small loss, but I like the opportunity idea better. All right, I'm gonna bail. I'm gonna check to see, do we have any more chat stuff? I have to go, but many thanks for live streaming. You're welcome. He's not here anymore. Dividend news, that was that. Okay. Anybody have any questions before I run? There's only a handful of you in here, and I know one of you personally, so. Nothing? If something comes up, put it in the chat. I'll check on it throughout the day. I'm going to watch this NAOV a little bit, grab some lunch, and see how it plays out. Pretty confident if it hits the missed monthly pivot, it's going to crash hard after that. So I kind of hope it does. I want to take a really good trade on that one and get from $20 to 9. I mean, that's I'll take $10 a share for sure. It's all right. I'm off. You know, be good, be kind to others, and we'll see you next Monday.